Dzień dobry, jak się masz, and welcome back to Car Obsession. In today's video, I'm teaching you how to speak Polish. Hang on, that doesn't sound right. Car channel, language. Oh, Polish. That makes more sense. Yes, in today's video, I'm actually testing a small range of polishes, but which one is the best? Keep watching to find out. So then, now that little confusion is out of the way, let me talk you through the products you will be seeing in this video. Now, quick disclaimer, only one of them was sent to me free of charge, and that is the Laysons Car Care all-in-one polish. This was sent to me quite some time ago as part of a few other products. I had a little bundle from them, so thank you, Laysons Car Care. The rest of these products you see before you were paid for with my hard-earned cash. Now, I don't think I will give any preferential treatment to Laysons because this would be as fair, honest and impartial as possible. So I've already mentioned the all-in-one polish from Laysons. What else do I have in front of me? So I've got the Skära. Be quiet. I never quite know how to pronounce their names. Their product names are a bit funky and Scandinavian. Skära. Anyway, I've got the Skära polish. I've also got Meguiars Ultimate Compound, Meguiars Ultimate Polish, and I have what many would deem to be the daddy of car polish, Autoglim's Super Resin Polish. As you can hopefully see on the boot lid of my MX-5, I have laid out 5 fairly evenly distributed areas of which to work with. So it'd be quite simple. It would be Laysons, Skära, Meguiars Ultimate Compound, Meguiars Ultimate Polish, and Autoglim's Super Resin Polish. Now, before we really get into the nitty gritty, let's just check the condition of the paint, see if there's any blemishes or swirl marks, and that way we can get a good idea of if there's going to be a decent before or after. Granted, I haven't got the best light, I haven't got a fancy detailing studio, but I do have an auto finesse torch. I think they call this the swirl finder or something similar. So the paint is actually in pretty good nick. There are some light scratches. I mean, there's definitely some marks there. But it's not actually as bad as I thought it'd be. So let's apply the Laysons Car Care to this one. Now, as much as I do have a machine polisher, I will be applying the products by hand because there's a good chance many of you watching this video won't have access to a polisher and will be doing it by hand. So I want to try and replicate your conditions as much as possible. So this is the applicator I'll be using. It is a Meguiars one. Again, I paid for this with my own money. I will be using one applicator per polish to avoid any cross-contamination which could skew the results. But yeah, like I say, I'm doing this by hand, but I've got 5 of these, one for each polish, of course. Actually, I've got more than 5, but I only need 5 for this test. Okie dokie. So the instructions for the Laysons. Hopefully autofocus should pick that up in just a moment. So instructions: wash vehicle thoroughly and dry. Yeah, I've done that. Shake bottle well and apply a small amount onto a microfiber cloth or applicator pad. Apply in circular motion as well. To be honest, it's pretty standard affair. I don't think any of these polishes have got any particular fancy instructions. So give it a good shake because this has been in the garage for a bit of time. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Right, what's that? Well, I think I can hear Outcast's lawyers coming for me. So just apply it onto the pad. I'm going to do 4 kind of P drops. Now, all the products I'm using, I will drop a link in the video description of where to purchase them. And I will also be adding prices onto the screen. So let's apply the Laysons one. I'll make sure not to leave any bits. There we go. Right, and just make sure I don't need to let it. Okay, so I need to allow it to cure for several minutes. So because this is an all-in-one polish, so let that haze for a little bit of time. So I'll see you in a few. So whilst I've let this haze for a bit, I have looked up the price for the Laysons car care all-in-one polish. So for 500 millilitres, you're looking at £13.95. That excludes any shipping or postage, of course. I've got a little bit of blurb from Laysons Car Care's website to tell you a bit more about the product. So, revives lackluster paintwork, excellent filling capabilities, combines polyesters with T1 grade carnauba wax, easy on, easy off application, low dusting or chalking. So yeah, that is the blurb there. Now, if you're wondering why it looks a little bit funny on the screen, I've got a filter on my lens, that's why. So the advantage of this product is, yes, it has got wax in it, therefore, as it says on the bottle, it is an all-in-one. Right, let's do the finger swipe test. That's clear to me, so let's get a cloth to buff it off with. Okay, so it's left behind a wonderful shine. I can still see some of the light scratches, although that one, to be fair, that scratches, yeah, polish won't get that out. That's going to need a machine on that. Yeah, some of the lighter scratches are still there, but that's looking pretty good. So let's get you on my little camera again. So if you compare that side to that side, yeah, it's definitely a more reflective nature, whereas that looks a bit dull and a bit flat. So let's get the torch out. So I'd say in regard to the more correction properties, wouldn't say it's done a great deal. Granted, some of the scratches, I think they're a bit too heavy to just be taken out with a hand polish, but it has given the paint a nice shine, I'll give it that. So a pretty competent job. Let's move on to the next product. So it's now time for the Skära gloss variant, which this will be the first time I've used it, so this is going to be a bit exciting for me because I do like Skära gloss products. Right, before we move into this panel, let's just inspect the paint. So some light scratching there. There's some light scratching there as well. Oh, quite a few swells there. Can you see that? Right. So there's the polish applied. It's got a kind of purpley tinge to it. So I'd say that was easier to buff off than the Laysons product, but that has got wax in it, so you will need a bit more effort to buffle it off, whereas with this, yeah, this came off really nicely. Right, let's just turn that over so it's ready for the next polish, not contaminating anything. Okay, so I'd say on a quick glance, now it's always going to be difficult to tell through the lens as opposed to seeing it in real life, but I would say the Skära gloss is a bit more glossy, but there really isn't that much in it. I've just hunched down behind the camera, looking at it from a lower angle, and yeah, both have done a very good job. lovely shine. Now, the swirl marks were around this area, so let's see what this Skära gloss has done. Okay, so time to inspect the paint. I'm going to go straight to the area where the swirl marks were, which I think was around here. There's still some left behind. Of course, sometimes there's only so much you can do with a hand polish. Yeah, look, there's still quite a lot in that area. So really and truly, this boot could do with a machine polish. But I would say it has got rid of some of them, some of the finer swirl marks. But yeah, there's still, as you can see, some might have been left behind. But still happy with that. So in regard to pricing for the Skära, if you go for the 100ml bottle, which I have in front of me, that is £6, excluding shipping or postage. You can also get it in a 500ml, which is £14. So it's only 5p more compared to the Laysons. It is worth noting the Laysons is an all-in-one though. I would say on first impressions, under natural daylight, of course, like I said, I haven't got the ability to have a fancy studio. I would say the Skära gloss has done a little bit better, but I'm not taking anything away from the Laysons. So now time to move on to the third strip, and this is where Meguiars enters the party. So that's the strip we want to focus on there. Once more, we will have a look at the paint to inspect it before and after. So I'm going to start off with the compound. So you have the compound and the polish. Normally you would go compound first, then use the polish, but these are both polishing products. So I would be quite interested to see how the two compare against each other as opposed to being used together. So yeah, the compound will go here, the polish will go here. Now, essentially they are both polishes, but the compound will be more aggressive in regards to its cutting abilities, and particularly if you're using it with a dual action polisher or a rotary, you're going to get better results as opposed to doing it by hand. So let's have a look at the paint. Get my torch out once more. Right, just get my hand sorted. So as you can see, lots of swirling there. I don't think they will come out by hand, but you never know. Yeah, quite a lot of swirls there. I'd say this is probably the worst part of the boot. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely the worst part of the boot. So needless to say, the Meguiars compound is going to have its work cut out. There we go, let's pop that to one side. Right, and there's that. Let's pop that applicator away. So I now need to just wipe the excess away. Then it says turn over to another part for a final wipe. So yeah, there are still some swirl marks behind, but I can see some improvements. I mean, there's still a lot there. There's still quite a concentrated area for swirl marks. I mean, yeah, that section is still quite bad. There has been some improvement, but that's come up quite nicely. Let me just get the prices for the Meguiars. So in regard to pricing for the Ultimate Compound from Halfords, at the time of filming, you're paying £16.30, and that is for, how big is this bottle? 450 millilitres. So a bit more expensive compared to its competitors, but that is a more aggressive, well, compound. That's the best word for it. So yeah, if you're on a budget, then that may not be the one for you. We now need to move on to the Ultimate Polish. So let's just put it to one side. So yeah, now focusing on Meguiars Ultimate Polish. This won't have the same cutting abilities as its compound brother, of course. But I'd like to think it should give a bit more of a shine. Okay, so inspect the paint. Yeah, once more. There's quite a lot of swirling. Not quite as bad as the middle of the boot. Try and get it in focus. Yeah, this section isn't as bad. Far from perfect. I mean, there's some pronounced scratches there. They definitely won't come out by hand. Or at least, well, I'd be very surprised if they do with the Ultimate Polish. Yeah, I think that's going to need a more industrial action, so to speak. And let's apply it to the applicator. Oh, excuse you. Right, pop it there and apply it to the paintwork. There we go, let's pop that to one side. I'll be honest, so far each polish has done very, very well. There's not really much in it. So finding a winner or having some kind of conclusion is going to be a little bit tricky. A bit tougher to get off than I anticipated, actually. And I'd say apart from the Laysons, that's probably the toughest polish to get off, and it's still left a few remnants. That's actually quite tough to get off. I must admit I haven't used that polish in a bit of time. Yeah, that one needs a bit more elbow grease, and just at certain angles there's still some polish there that just it's quite stubborn. So just taking a walk around the car. There really isn't much in it. Certain lights, one polish looks better than the other. Then you change your angle and you go, actually. Right, so I've turned it over. Let's just check the paint following that polish. I'm not expecting a great deal of change. I was expecting a bit more shine from the polish, if I'm going to be honest. Although having said that, when you get a torch on it, it is coming out really nicely. It's still swirl marks, but I wasn't expecting this polish to get rid of that, particularly by hand. Yeah, its cutting abilities aren't as strong as the compound, and that's why you'd want the compound. So in regard to correction or filling, not much has changed, but yeah, it definitely shines better with the torch on it, which sounds obvious, but what I mean is under this daylight, it still looks a little bit flat. It doesn't look quite as glossy as the other panels, at least in person. It still looks a little flat, but once you get the torch on it, it kind of comes alive a bit. So of course, that leaves just one more. Now look at that, I had a press car turn up, one of the new MG hybrid SUVs.
A few minutes later.
Sorry about the little interlude there, I had a press card delivered. Before I move on to the Autoglim product, let me talk you through the pricing of the Meguiars Ultimate Polish. So once more from Halfords, this for 473 millilitres. I know, strange amount. It's £17.99. So much to my surprise, this is more money compared to the Ultimate Compound. Yes, you do get a little bit more product for your money, but yeah. Now, as much as I like Meguiars, I would say these two products, the Compound and the Polish, they are a bit on the pricey side. So let's move on to the Auto Glim. Now this is a big chunky 1 litre bottle, as you can see there. I mean, that is a whopper, look at that. That is a very, very big bottle. So let me just quickly grab the pricing for this. Now, you don't have to buy it in such a large quantity if you don't want to, but I just found it to be better value. Now this is interesting. If you want a litre of this from Halfords at the time of filming, it will cost you £17.24. So that's over double what you get from the Meguiars Ultimate Polish. So yeah, this represents much better value. Now if you don't want to buy such a big quantity, you can get this in 500 millilitres, and that's £13.56. So yeah, I mean, it makes much more sense to buy the litre. And that's what I did. So yeah, surprising that the Auto Glim is so much better value than the Ultimate Polish from Meguiars. Right, anyway. Now I've been using this stuff for quite some time. Oh, hello. And I've always been impressed with it. So let's get you on this camera. Oh, that's actually a bit liberal. Oh. Right. Stray hair's just fallen onto the applicator, so I'll get rid of that. I've just realised in my interruption with having the press card delivered, I didn't check that paint beforehand. So what we'll have to do is inspect this small panel here. Granted, it's not quite the same, but it'll have to be. Now this stuff is really easy to wipe off, and that's left a lovely finish. Oh, it just feels so nice. I mean, I'll just feeling each surface. Oh, that just feels so glossy. The Ultimate Polish feels good, but that just feels a bit more glossy. Yeah, the Compound isn't quite as glossy, but this is more of a cutting as opposed to polishing, although it does polish, if that makes sense. Skära gloss, that's pretty good. Feels quite glassy. Laysons, that's pretty good as well, but the Super Resin, yeah, that just feels really nice on the touch. Not that you're going to be stroking your car's paintwork, obviously. Now, it's just, I know this is a very small cross section of the boot area, but there's quite a lot, to be fair, that's quite a lot of swirl marks there, as you can hopefully see. Quite a lot there as well. If I can get my hand-eye coordination sorted. Look, lots of swirl marks. So yeah, it's just apply a bit of resin to that area. Oh, don't want it to leak out. Right, let's wipe away. Okay, still some swirl marks, but it has come out pretty nicely. So, right, let's just bring the cameras back and let you get a look at the finished product. I mean, from this angle, it's so hard to call it, particularly on the near side of the boot where the Laysons is. That bit looks really, really glossy. And again, from this angle, the Super Resin looks really reflective on the offside. Okay then, let's have a look at the final result. To be honest with you, all of the products have done a pretty sterling job. Now, I'd say some have done a better job than others, so let's go through each product one by one. We'll start off with the Laysons Car Care All-in-One Polish. The advantage of this product, it is an all-in-one, therefore you have wax elements as well, so you're using less time and of course using less product. So yes, that has been pretty good. Nice glossy finish, not quite as glossy though as the Gloss Skära, which we'll move on to next. This has left a nice finish. It's quite nice to the touch. Not quite as nice as the Auto Glim, but I'll get onto that in a few moments. But yeah, the Gloss has done a pretty good job as well, so I'm pleased with that. Then we move on to the Meguiars products. Now, the compound, it is flatter compared to the rest of the polishes used, but that shouldn't really come as a surprise because this is more of a cutting compound as opposed to an out-and-out polish. This is technically still a polish, but it's not going to give you the same amount of gloss or shine as its brother, the Ultimate Polish. Now, the Ultimate Polish, that has done a good job. I'm happy with the glossiness, but it's quite pricey, isn't it? At $17.99 for not even half a litre. Yeah, I do think that's not the strongest economy, and that's where we move on to this, the Auto Glim Super Resin Polish. The value you get from this product, I think, is, dare I say, unbeatable. And not only do you get good value, but the finish is brilliant, easy to apply, easy to take off, and how the paint feels afterwards, it's so nice. Oh, don't put your ring on it, Aaron, that's very silly. I mean, I wish you could feel just how silky and glassy this feels. So I think it's probably come as a little surprise, but my winner for this test is the Auto Glim Super Resin Polish. I think the Laysons Car Care does need a special mention. It is an all-in-one, therefore you're saving yourself time and product. As I said a few moments ago, the Ultimate Polish from Meguiars is good, but just a bit too pricey in my opinion. The compound is going to be your best bet if you want to combat swirl marks and just to correct the paint, particularly with a machine polisher. The Gloss Skära has performed very well, and I think that's pretty decent value. And of course, the Laysons Car Care is good value, and you're getting more than one product in one, if that makes sense. So yes, like I say, the Auto Glim is my recommendation. And like I said, I paid for this with my own money, and this is an honest, impartial review. If you have found this video helpful, guys, or useful, or you've enjoyed it, or maybe all three, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you have any questions or you want to share your own experiences with these products, please do let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.